Hi everyone, welcome to podcast series of Guys in the Cloud. Today we are at Google I/O Connect Bangalore by Google. We were just roaming around the campus, seeing a lot of amazing demos and different activities, and we just saw one amazing activity related to cricket, like how we can use AI to play around cricket and how AI can be a useful tool in this particular domain. Uh, I feel most of you are also thinking about such kind of use cases, that how we can use AI in the real world problems. And in the same terms, answering all of those questions, we have Jack, who built that particular entire setup. And in this particular podcast, we are going to discuss about how you build that particular use case and what is the inspiration, what kind of tool you have used. And yeah, so before moving to the actual discussion part, I just wanted to brief you about Jack. He is currently working as developer advocate at Google, working from London, having some amazing experience, and he enjoys talking about AI stuffs as an educator, as a speaker in different conferences. So first of all, welcome Jack to our podcast. So and welcome to our channel as well. So yeah, we were just roaming around and we saw your demo. It was truly amazing. In India, cricket is something like it is in everyone's blood, right? When we start like growing up, we always get into cricket. Okay, we have some amazing players: Sachin Tendulkar, Dhoni, Kohli. So having such kind of use case, such kind of real world implementation here at I/O Connect, it was truly amazing. And a personalized experience, it was truly amazing thing. So we just wanted to understand like how you came to this particular place where you thought of that, let's build this kind of use case. Because nowadays when we go into market and discuss to different folks, everyone wants to leverage AI in their real world scenario, but they don't know how to get into this particular scenario. So what is your thought process while building this particular real world use case?
So that's actually a really good question, because this isn't the first time I've built something like this. Last year, we built the AI penalty challenge, which was using AI to analyze soccer kicks. And being based in London, we have a lot of cricket fans there, and a lot of the people I work with in the London office are big cricket fans. So when I was talking to them about, okay, what's the next sort of sport we should do, they were very insistent, like, oh yeah, we should definitely do cricket. So my main inspiration for it actually came from wanting to like build something for sort of my friends around me and build for people who are actually close to me. So in terms of like finding good use cases, it's either like build for yourself or build for people you care about, because you can actually get more sort of involved into the actual like process and get better feedback, and you care a bit more. So that was how I sort of came about doing cricket, is because the people around me in London are big cricket fans. I myself am more of a rugby fan, but I'm a fan of sport and using AI in sport. So that's what got me into it.
Amazing. Like in India, like as I already told you, cricket is something which is in everyone's blood. So hopefully this demo will go to the broader range, and most probably most of the folks will try it out and they see how AI can use in these kind of scenario. So like what is the challenge while implementing this kind of use case?
There's a couple of challenges. I think it'd be actually to kind of explain what the whole use case is you go up and then there's a bowling machine. Your job is to hit a six. We've got a big target that you're aiming for. And then we use a couple of pixel phones mounted around the cage to record your shots in slow motion. Those all get uploaded to the cloud. And then we use a combination of Gemini and classic computer vision algorithms that are written by Gemini to analyze your technique, your power, your accuracy. And then at the end, you get coaching advice based off of your performance, all generated with Gemini again and spoken back to you. And then the kind of magical aspect is your picture is then used with Imagen to generate sort of a magic hero moment of like, it can be you in a stadium, it can be you in a rainforest. Like we have all these different sort of prompts of your player card that gets generated. And then that then gets fed into VO to do our video generation. So whether you hit the ball well or not, you'll actually get a video that looks like you hit the ball into space or whichever prompt you chose. So it's kind of an end-to-end, both coaching and fan experience. You'll actually get really insightful advice based on how to improve your batting. But then you'll also get these like really sort of unique takeaways generated using like the latest AI on Google Clouds.
So if I say this entire application, entire use case is implemented by AI itself.
Majority of the code is actually generated with Gemini 2.5.
Because nowadays what is happening, like everyone wanted to do vibe coding. They have a vision in their mind, but they don't know how to take that vision into reality. There are a lot of AI tools. There are different AI tools available, different LLMs are available, and they are having different capabilities. So while implementing this particular part, is it only Gemini you have used or some other LLMs you have used to implement? I think Imagen you have mentioned just to create the image and all. Have you used Vue or something else?
For the actual like building of the application, it was pure like Gemini 2.5 for doing actually the writing of the code. And then it's kind of weird because I've used Gemini to build the app, but also Gemini itself is running within the app. So there's kind of like built like multiple levels of Gemini being used. And then what's funny is the ball tracking to track the power and to track the accuracy, like if you hit it at the perfect angle, that is technically not, there's no AI in it in production. So it's running classic computer vision. So it's using like OpenCV to look at the frames of the image and look at pixels and stuff. So there's no AI when it's like predicting where the ball's going. But that code was generated by Gemini. So there was AI to write the code that is now doesn't need AI anymore. And that's how we get like very fast and accurate sort of ball tracking, which is currently a bit of a hard problem for these LLMs to do like precise slow motion ball tracking of a very small object. But the LLM can still solve the problem if you ask it to write the code that solves the problem. So for engineers using AI, it's kind of an interesting idea to keep in mind where you might not want the AI to be running within the app, but then the AI might be able to write the code that solves the problem instead of having the AI, because the AI model can be quite expensive and quite complex, but the code it writes can be a lot more simple and more specific to different problems. So from an engineering point of view, it's always good to consider not, instead of putting AI in the app, maybe AI can build the app and it can be a lot faster.
Great. So, like as you mentioned that you ask Gemini to generate the entire code. So, like nowadays everyone has some vision in their mind, and they also wanted to implement such kind of use cases. So, like while implementing this particular scenario where you ask Gemini to generate the code, how you structured that vibe coding part? That is something like people wanted to understand, like how people structure their plan so that they will get the desired output like this.
So that's a very interesting one because I actually have a few people around me in London who are doing a lot of vibe coding, and they're coming at it from a less technical background. So we have people who've never like built an app and they're not vibe coding, and the way they're sort of giving instructions is they're very, very high level of, I want an app that does this thing. The place that I'm coming at it from is actually from like a full stack engineer. So like I said, like we built something called the penalty kick challenge last year. So that was all like hand coded. So no vibe coding at all. So I know how to do full stack web development. So I know how to use web frameworks. I know how to use Firebase. I know how to do all these things. So when I'm vibe coding, I'm actually giving it very, very specific instructions as to like, build this function that does this thing. So it's a much more like, I don't need it to generate plans for me. I don't need it to generate architectures because I've already done that in my head as an engineer. So I'm giving it sort of the very last stage, the tedious actual writing of the code. So my instructions can be very specific, and I actually tend to get really, really high success rates with how like the actual outputs, because the way I'm using it, I 99% of the time, it's actually writing the exact code I want because I'm being very specific about use this library to write this function that takes this as input, takes this as output. And it's almost like the structure of an interview question. You're seeing like coding interview questions where it says, given this thing, I want this exact function signature. So as an engineer, I'm giving it those sorts of instructions and I'm getting really, really good results. And again, it's a thing to remember. It's like vibe coding is just a tool. There's not going to be one tool that is better than another tool. It's going to be how you individually are using tools. Like there's other tools such as Firebase Studio, which has a lot of opinions about which specific tools to use. And that's much better for sort of less technical people. If you don't care about the specific functions that you want to make, Firebase Studio, all these other ones that are a bit more high level are excellent. But if you do have very specifics on the frameworks you're using, the libraries you're using, the way you want it to handle data in a very specific way, then just using like the raw model or using things like the Gemini CLI where it can individually edit files for you is a much better approach from an engineering point of view.
Yeah, so like nowadays, like everyone wanted to like make their vision into reality, and for that they are using vibe coding. So as you are already experienced with full stack, you know what needs to be done there. So you have the idea about it, but for those folks who are just starting with the vibe coding, they don't know about the background, the structure, the framework and everything. What you suggest to them that first start with this particular thing, or if you are trying to build any use case, just first understand and ask these questions so that the entire application, the entire use case will be aligned with the proper structure which you are trying to solve.
Okay, so you're asking around like if someone's just starting off with what I recommend. So the main thing is making your idea as simple as possible. A lot of people, when they say like, oh, I've got an app to do, they're thinking like, oh, this whole thing, it's going to have like user login. It's going to set emails. And I'm like, no, what's the specific, like, I call it like the crux of the idea. Like, what's that one feature that is your idea? Like, if I wanted to build something to help like people learning how to drive, this is like one of the app ideas I had. I just wanted to help people learn how to go around roundabouts in the UK. It's going to be quite confusing. And you could build like, oh, I could build a whole platform where you can log in and there's quizzes. I was like, no. The main idea is that roundabout simulation game. So that is my idea. That's what I'm going to take to something like Canvas and Gemini. That's like a really good starting point because it's very good at building simple applications. So if you go to the Gemini app and then enable Canvas, that's really good. And then Firebase Studio is also really good. But then you give it just the simplest version of the idea. And always a good prompt I always use is like build a simple HTML app that does, and then ... and then you give it your thing. And that helps tell the LLM like to just restrict to just simple HTML. Because if you don't give that specification, it can start building very complicated apps. It can start requiring like cloud services. But if you say you're only allowed to use this simple tool, simple HTML, and then give it your app idea, that's a good place to start. And I've seen people who've never built an app before do that even on the phone. So even on the mobile app, you can go to Gemini, enable Canvas, and then give it your app idea, and it will build something for you just there. So start.
Recently, I taken one session on Firebase Studio, and people were like, they were building 3D modeling app using vibe coding. So the way you instructed that if you are having some kind of experience as a full stack developer or something, you can instruct your application properly. Otherwise, it's more like, and it will not work, right? And at that time, people were like, is it not working? This is the error we are getting, something like that. So if you are starting with vibe coding, I think the suggestion you given, like, you should start with simple thing and then you make it slowly complex stuff. So yep. Thank you so much, Jack, for all your insights. It is truly amazing. And the use case which you have built, it is phenomenal. As part of a small token of appreciation from Guys in the Cloud, I would like to give you this small thing for you. So thank you so much for coming up and sharing with us.